another rendition of the Hawk Session Podcast with Quality and Tone.
Yeah.
As you see, we have a special guest
in the building,
Grandmaster Tone. Grandmaster Tone is in the building
for a special, wonderful thing for y'all to see that we have friends. And it's not just us.
We actually are very social. Yeah.
So for this segment of the podcast Hawk Session here, I would like to talk about the fight. What I call the fight or the push. And what necessarily that is necessarily you having to take the steps to go through something that is very difficult within your life, whether it be a workout, whether it be something that is traumatizing, whether it just be, I pretty much just said
maybe it's just school.
Maybe it's just school. Just having you to just go through a hard time, what you have to do mentally, physically, and spiritually, whatever you have to do to get through a moment, whatever it is. And I call it the fight for me, especially during workouts, because you just got to fight through whatever pain you got to get to the end of a workout, so you can say that I finished and I didn't, fail or whatever. So I call it the fight. I don't know what everybody else calls it.
That inner dog.
The inner dog. We can call it.
Yeah. That beast mentality.
The beast. You feel me? Getting it through.
We got different things.
Yes. Alright, so I have a question for it. We're gonna go into it. Grandmaster Tone, you gonna be on spot right now.
Oh yeah.
Right here. Yeah. So what do you feel when we're talking about the fight or the push? What do you think is more important of the three elements? Mental, physical, or spiritual?
What's the most
important one going through?
I bet. So, like they say, Grandmaster Tone or Zen Master Tone, if y'all say. I say rhyme and reason either or. But I say the most important is mental, man, because if you don't got that mental right, then how you gonna get your physical or spiritual together, brother?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? Like people, like the thing that holds people back is really that wall.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If your psyche ain't with it, like think of it like running a mile. How many of y'all like running a mile?
I really don't like it.
And I have to do that on daily.
That's regular him.
I gotta do that.
I don't like the mile whatsoever.
Exactly. Y'all in track and don't like the mile. Just imagine somebody who ain't in track, ain't physically fit, running a mile.
Yeah.
They gonna have a bigger wall in front of them than y'all.
Feel that?
You know what I mean? And when y'all running that mile, it's like everything is all sweet and dandy, but then you get to that third lap, and then it's like, dang, I got one more. And then you like, I'm gonna start slowing. Your mind, it makes you start slowing down.
Right.
You feel me? And when it came down to it, when my situation, when I had to run a mile, I always tried to break under 6 minutes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like literally, there was this one cat I knew he could run. Like he was short, fast, quick, stud. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we was together the whole time, but we was running like 10 laps around the indoor track. So I'm
200-meter track.
Wait. You said I heard 6 minutes on before anybody before we go 6 minutes. What grade we talking about?
We talking high school.
Okay, there he is. All right, there we go.
All right.
Okay.
I'm not competitive in a mile. You feel me? But I knew for a fact, like when it came to the last 2 laps, I was like, man, I'm dying down. But I'm like, this other dude, I'm like, he going. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, if he gonna go, I might as well go too. He like I half the track ahead of me at this point when that wall hit. And I'm like, nah, I'm gonna catch up to him. And by the time I catch up to him, I was just at 6:01. So if I stayed with him, I would at least had 5:50.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So when it comes to that wall, the only thing that stopped me was that mental, man. Once you get that mental, it doesn't even matter because there's another individual who's named David Goggins. Look up David Goggins.
Hey, oh God, yo. Shout out to David Goggins, yo.
He's like, stop thinking about it, just do it.
Yeah.
Like everything, life is gonna suck. You gotta embrace the suck and go with it. You know what I mean? If you want to put it in God's hands, put it in God's hands and stop worrying about it. You know what I mean? Because once you forget that mental, physical and spiritual, everything is possible. Everything's possible.
Yeah, one thing that my high school coach always told me was your mind is like a television. When you have a bad thought, it's a vision like you're watching television, just change that channel. Even if you listen to radio, if it's something that you don't want to listen to, what you do, you change the dial. So with that mental, once you start thinking a bad thought, change that channel. It might be like the news where the same thing keeps popping up over and over and over again. You just keep changing the channel till you find Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network. But it's also the fact that sometimes you can't get that bad thought out of your head, and you're thinking that you can't push and you can't do it. Make it a game for yourself. You know what? If I do this, I get this reward. If I do this, I can do this. Just break it down into making it easier for yourself and not tearing yourself down, boosting yourself up.
Okay. Tone. Well, see, we got two tones, obviously, but track tone, track tone, master tone. We kind of did a bit of this here. Well, track tone. When going up, when you see this wall, whatever it may be, when you see this wall in front of you, and you're thinking of different ways to go around this wall, do you think that it is more? Do you think it's more of a do you think it's more of a mental aspect of visualizing this wall, right? You have this wall in front of you. Do you think that majority of people, which I can take and say, I would say yes to this, but do you think the majority of people, when they get to this wall, over exaggerate the wall a lot sometimes?
Yes.
When it comes to it?
Well, there's 3 things you can do. Well, really 4 things you can do when you get to the wall. Hurdle it, go to the left side, go to the right side, or run straight through.
I also would like to say sometimes you can tunnel. sometimes people go under.
Then you got the tunnel, and then you got the people that look at the wall and then go back the other way.
Right.
So with the wall, I picture it. If you can hurdle it, you can high jump it, or you can pole vault over it. There's some way to get over this wall, so there's no determinants of how tall the wall is. There's a way to get over it. There's a way to get through it. Maybe if you keep looking, there's a door. Maybe there's a little tunnel.
Right. Maybe.
So the wall aspect, no matter how big the wall is, you're able to overcome that wall.
Okay. That's actually, I think that works very much well. What I have to say about necessarily any type of wall. Ooh, no, actually, Grandmaster Tone. Here's my question. What do you think? What about over the wall? What do you think? What do you think is what keeps people from getting over that wall? Do you think they're more afraid to go through the wall, or what's on the other side of the wall?
My pops got this line: until the fear of change is greater than the fear of staying the same, people will never change. Cause I'm actually
Hold on, time out. Slow it down. I need you to say that again, but slow it down.
Say that again. Hold on, say it again.
So this is coming from Kill Bay. I need y'all to look that up too. Until the fear of change is stronger than the fear of staying the same, you will still continue to be the same. It means you'll continue doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? And I'm actually going to simplify what you said. It's actually 2 options. Either you're going to do it or you're not.
Yeah.
Because, like, we can say that people are scared, people are afraid, this, that, and the third. But we can also say people just don't want to work hard, too. Because people will complain over simple things, you know what I mean?
Big time.
Like, people who have more opportunities than other people. I see, like, in class, the person who has all A's tripping over getting an 89 and somebody tripping over getting a 32.
They
They even gonna make it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, I actually almost lost track of where I was going with that.
Well,
Look, let's put the Jeopardy theme song going.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. So actually, another thing, it's another factor that we gotta go into it with it. It's like people like the easy route. People love the easy route.
Mm-hmm.
Minimum effort, maximum reward, fam. People love it.
So one of my favorite quotes by Kevin Durant is, "Hard work beats talent when talent refuses to work hard."
Oh God.
Most people let their talent take them everywhere they go, but they don't work hard. And they feel like because they have the talent, they have the raw natural talent that God has gave them, they're able to do everything that's possible. But with that talent, you also got to work hard to make sure that that talent, that raw talent, becomes organic.
Hey.
Facts.
I like that.
People don't want to do stuff they ain't good at.
Yeah.
That,
I mean,
and that's a hurdle.
I mean, just because you're good at math doesn't mean that you don't have to practice at doing math.
Yeah.
Just because you know English doesn't mean you don't know how to write an English paper.
True.
Yeah, there's people that definitely still don't know how to write papers.
Be killing me with some run-on sentences.
I got a question. Do a comma go here or parentheses? How do you not know the difference?
Going in between, you gotta ask the teacher all types of things.
What's a semicolon?
Most people don't know. I'm not even gonna hold.
You know what? We just gonna pay somebody else to do it.
You know what? Yeah.
You know that's the biggest thing. Listen, do your own work first of all. Try and do your own work first of all. But
if you gonna fail, let yourself fail.
When it goes down to workouts, what I like to bring up is when I was just beginning track, and when I just figured out that my body was adjusting to the wear downs and poundings of the body when it came down to the being on the track a lot. A lot of people didn't understand the whole idea of shin splints, and when you going to practice and you like, dang, my shins hurt. You don't know exactly what you need to do to help this. Coach is telling you, you need to take a bath. Ice, you know what I'm saying? But you going to practice every single day and it's still hurting. You don't know what to do. And then you come to find out it might be your foot placement. It might be just the way the shoe is, the arch in the shoe. You don't know what the situation is.
Foot contact.
Right. So I think my biggest push when it came to actually being in the sport of track was actually having to deal with shin splints. A lot of people, when they have shin splints, it goes on to a deeper injury. For some reason, when I was doing in my beginnings, it never went into a deeper injury. It just kept hurting. I never got
stress fracture.
I never got them, but it just kept hurting every single time I contacted the track. And my body, when I got through every single workout, literally my body began to adapt, and I believe that was the other side of the wall. Like my body began to adapt to shin splints, and my body was like, oh, this is normal. This it ain't nothing new. So I believe in most cases when you see this wall that is nesting in front of you and you're wanting to push through this wall, it's very important for a person to understand that on the other side of the wall is a whole, just like what Grandmaster Tone said, is a whole greater reward on the other side. There is a benefit to what you're doing. My benefit of the case was shin splints for me, just became a very numbing feeling. Now I do have soles in my shoes now where I don't have shin splints anymore, give or take that, but it still allowed me, running with shin splints allowed me to still be an athlete and actually have a callus in my mind to where that I can deal with pain a bit more differently than everybody else could. And I think that's a big thing. If you go through it, pain for you will begin to decrease as for everybody else's as it begins to stay the same. It becomes different for you.
So what was the thing that flipped the switch? Because when I had shin splints when I was running track in high school, coach would be like, oh, you got shin splints? I'll get on the bike. You got to do 8 miles on the bike.
Right. Tony, you got one? I would have to say for me, I couldn't. The switch was already made when I figured out that I could do this. I was in 7th grade and I became the fastest on the team. I was the best. But that for me was the switch of I can't let up. Just because something hurts on me, I can't just let up because I'm the best on the team. The team is counting on me to do what I have to do for it, and then I'm counting on me to produce something that I've not even seen within myself ever before, because this is new for me. You know, I'm 7th grade. I've always been fast, but I've never been on a team, gotten ribbons, like been like on a relay. Like, it was completely all different for me, and I wanted to see the real switch for me was I wanted to see how far I can go with as much pain as possible and still complete my goals. So it was, you know, the wall was always there, just it never bothered me. It began to never bother me, but then I got over it, and even more, it just didn't even bother me. So even more, just me being the best and being prepared for my team and myself, that was even more of a switch for me to just be like, all right, I can handle my pain.
But back to what he was saying with the shin splints and the coach will tell you to go get on the bike when you used to run track. Each coach will tell you to do a different thing. Each coach has a different mentality and a different way to do things. So like my coach will tell us, hey, suck it up. After practice, it's going to hurt. After practice, make sure you ice it. Make sure that you take care of it. Water, hydration. Make sure, now if it start getting too bad to where you feel like you can't walk or can't run, go see the trainers. Now if the trainers can't do nothing for you, go see a doctor.
Yeah.
So that was that segment. Like that's how everything worked. Hamstrings, hips, back. Make sure you stretch it. Make sure you, all right, ice it, stretch it. Now if you're still feeling pains, try and crack it. If that's still painful, like I deal with pain so much differently than some of my teammates now. I can go through pain and be like, oh dang, like this hurt, cool, and still run the times. Coach was like, hey, you need to run this time, cool. Repetition.
Yeah.
When it starts to hurt, repetition. I know I need to go faster. But back to what he was saying with the chin splints and how he felt like he couldn't let the team down, can do this down. For me, I was always a hamstring guy. My hamstring was always hurting. It was either my right, my left. I had a hip problem. I had hip surgery when I first got here. So it was like different things. But in high school, I couldn't let my team down. I could not let my team down. I'm the fastest on the team, fastest in the area, one of the top 5 in the state in both of my events, the 4 and the 8. And every meet I had to show up and show out.
Yeah.
Now mentally, I'm like, dang, I'm not really feeling it today. Dang, maybe today ain't the day. Maybe I should sit out. Dang, what if I actually pull it today? And then it goes back to my coach like, hey, you having that bad thought, change that channel. I'm like, all right, cool. Dang, I ain't feeling today, but today about to be my greatest day. Yeah, it was still, that bad thought was still there, but it was an uplifting moment.
Right.
Being great, me and Quality always talk about it. Being good, being great, and being phenomenal are 3 different things.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
There are 3 different things. You can be phenomenal without being good. Your work ethic makes you phenomenal. Being phenomenal means you're unforgettable. Now, if your work ethic was there, but you really wasn't that good, you're still going to be remembered. You can be great without being phenomenal. You can be good. Oh, yeah. When somebody say, hey, remember such and such? Oh, yeah, I do remember him. But you were a bad thought in their mind. You was way back, like they have to remember, oh yeah. So being good, being great, and being phenomenal is all a mindset. What are you doing to do the extra? What extra work are you doing? It's like Luther Vandross. Nobody forgets about Luther. Nobody.
Nobody forget about Luther.
Nobody.
Especially little Luther. You know what I'm saying? Little Luther had the thing going on. You know what I mean?
Michael Jackson, Jackson 5. Nobody forgets about them.
Yeah,
they're phenomenal. Now, some of the music.
Wait, hold up. Nobody forgets about Michael Jackson.
Ain't nobody, boy.
That's one. Remember, they said Michael Jackson and
the Jackson 5.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm sorry.
God.
But nobody forgets about them.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Michael Jackson was getting up, dancing all day.
Yeah.
Dancing Machine? Yeah, it was a song, but that's what Michael was.
Dancing Machine, baby.
Singing Machine.
Oh, man.
Standing Machine. He stood at a whole concert for like 45 minutes, didn't do nothing.
Screaming. Just screaming, folks. I swear.
But that's that doing the extra to make sure that you're never forgotten.
Right.
You got to do that extra.
Right. I told a friend. I know. Track Tone. You heard me say this before. With the religious standpoint, I brung up Jesus and the devil when it comes to being great, good, and phenomenal, and having that push in that fight, because I said that the devil is great. What I mean by that is the devil himself was a great individual when it came to putting the obstacles in your way, putting the temptations in your way, to refrain you from doing those things. He had great power to show you that everybody is a bad individual. Even Jesus was a great individual as well for what he did. But the difference between the devil and Jesus, what I like about the Bible and how he did, Jesus had to step back to a good situation. He had to step back. He became a great individual with what he did before. He had never came across the devil in his life. He was doing all these good deeds, being a complete God on earth. He was a great man. And then when Jesus met the devil, met great against great obstacles against great obstacles, Jesus had to step back to a good standpoint to realize that this is not for me. Being a great does not mean that you're always going to be a phenomenal person. That doesn't mean you're going to take that step of being phenomenal. Most of the time, to be phenomenal, you got to step back first. Remember the good within yourself. Understand the obstacles that have come across. Jesus had to look at the devil and say, "No, I'm not. This ain't for me because I'm with the Most High, not with the Most Low." I step back. I'll analyze the good and who I am, and I step forward, back up as a phenomenal individual. Jesus did the extra amount for us of dying for our sins, and that's what makes him a phenomenal individual. So looking at that itself, Jesus had to push through, knowing what he had to go through, already knowing. He had to push through that to be phenomenal and to even have a good story in the first place. For us to even tell in the first place, for me to even tell that in the first place.
See, you're gonna get all the church folks with that one.